I stood in my own kitchen, and my daughter-in-law handed me a piece of paper like I was her employee. Sign this. My parents are moving in. My brother too. You'll take the upstairs bedroom. I didn't say a word. I just looked at her. She smiled. Not a warm smile. The kind that tells you she's been planning this for months. Mrs. Rivera, you can fight this or you can accept it gracefully, but either way, they're coming on Saturday. Then she walked out. I called my son. It rang 6 times. Voicemail. 3rd time he picked up. Mom, I know what you're going to say. David, she handed me a paper, in my kitchen, while you were at work. She told me she was going to talk to you. And you signed it without me? A pause. I could hear someone breathing in the background. Her, right next to him, listening to every word. She's my wife, Mom. That sentence told me everything. He wasn't my son anymore. He was hers first. I sat at my kitchen table and opened the drawer where I keep the important documents. The deed, my husband's life insurance policy, and something else. A document dated 3 weeks ago. This house was already sold. I had signed the papers with a cash buyer. Closing in 10 days. She wanted to move her whole family into a house I no longer owned. I closed the drawer and smiled. But, let me back up. David met Elena 3 years ago. He came home that night checking his phone every 10 seconds. He was in love. I wanted to love her too. First dinner at my house. She walked in wearing a black dress and heels. Not the casual meet the mom outfit. She walked in like she was inspecting property. She shook my hand. Not a hug. A handshake. Firm. Controlled. The house is charming, older than I expected. My husband died in this house. Heart attack at 53. That was 4 years ago. Would you like some water? I'll have wine if you have it. I didn't drink. David knew that. I poured her a glass anyway. During dinner, she asked me 3 things. My income, whether the house was paid off, if I had other children. I was being interviewed. I just didn't know it yet. The wedding. Elena's family planned everything. Her mother picked the venue. Her father picked the menu. Her brother Marcus was best man. 3 weeks before the wedding, Patricia called me. Linda, the mothers are wearing sage green. I've already picked the dress, $300. I need your size by tomorrow. Nobody asked if I liked sage green. I was being told what to wear to my own son's wedding. The day of the wedding I arrived, and a girl in a headset stopped me. Name? Linda Rivera, mother of the groom. You're at table 7. Back corner near the kitchen. Table 7. Mother of the groom. Back corner, next to the swinging kitchen door. Elena's parents were at table 1. Front and center. 15 people. Champagne already poured. Elaborate floral arrangements. Table 7 had 6 chairs and a small centerpiece. My sister Carmen grabbed my arm. No, 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 no. I sat down. I watched my son dance with his wife. I watched Patricia cry happy tears at table 1. I watched Marcus toast about how Elena had finally found someone who could take care of her. Take care of her. My quiet, gentle son, who she earned more than. In the bathroom, I ran into Elena's sister Sophia, 23. Quiet. Dark circles under her eyes, long sleeves in June, 90 degrees outside. When she reached for a paper towel, her sleeve pulled back. Bruises. 5 of them in a line. Finger marks. Sophia. She pulled her sleeve down fast. I have to go. She left. Something was very wrong with this family, but I said nothing. That was my biggest mistake. First 6 months of the marriage. Every time I called, Elena answered. He's busy. He's in the shower. He's asleep. One Sunday night, I showed up at their apartment with tamales. Elena opened the door. Didn't step aside. He's not here. It's 9 o'clock on a Sunday. He went to the store. Past her, I saw 2 wine glasses on the counter. Both with lipstick. Can I come in and wait? No. She closed the door. I left the tamales on the ground. David called next morning, angry. Mom, you can't just show up like that. There were 2 wine glasses. Silence. Her friend came over earlier. That's all. Her friend with the same lipstick as her? He hung up. 2 days later, Elena showed up at my house alone. Sat on my couch. Crossed her legs. Mrs. Rivera, David is stressed. His anxiety is bad. When you show up unannounced, it triggers him. She was using his anxiety against me. Something he only shared with me. She turned it into a weapon to keep me away. I'm his mother. And I'm his wife. That comes first now. Then the baby news. 4 months in Elena was pregnant. I thought a baby would change things. It didn't. The baby shower was at Patricia's house. I wasn't invited to help plan it. 40 people there. I knew 3. Patricia bought a $1,000 stroller. Marcus bought a crib. I spent 3 months knitting a handmade blanket. Blue and white. The pattern my mother taught me. Elena held it up. Oh, that's sweet. Set it aside, without another word. Patricia leaned to the woman next to her. Whispered something. They both looked at the blanket and laughed. I left early. David didn't notice. The baby was born. Lucas. I saw him 3 times in 2 months. Each visit supervised. Elena always watching. Always timing. One time, I was holding Lucas, and he started crying. Elena took him immediately. He doesn't like being held too tight. I had raised a child. I knew how to hold a baby. But I didn't argue. David started looking thinner. Tired. Stopped making eye contact. Voice flat. Like someone turned the volume down on his personality. Are you happy? I'm fine. The way you say, I'm fine when you're the opposite of fine. Then, the night that changed everything. Thursday, 11 p.m. My phone rang. Sophia, whispering. Mrs. Rivera, I need help. I looked out the window. A car parked across the street. Marcus was driving. Sophia in the passenger seat. Lip split. Blood on her collar. Get in your house, Marcus said. This is family business. Sophia got out. Marcus drove off. I brought her inside. And she told me everything. Marcus had been abusing her for 2 years. Not just hitting, controlling, checking her phone, not letting her work. Their parents knew. And they did nothing. Elena knows? I asked. She knows. She said if I told anyone she'd make sure I never saw my nephew again. Elena knew her sister was being beaten, and used it as leverage. I said we should go to police. No. If Marcus gets arrested, Elena will destroy me. I have nothing. She stayed the night. Gone by morning. A note that said, please don't tell anyone. 2 weeks later, David and Elena came for dinner. Elena smiled, held Lucas, talked about paint colors, and she said it. David and I think we should move in here. You can help with the baby. We save money. Would your parents move in too? Her eyes changed. Just a flicker. Not right away, maybe later. I said no. 3 days later, David called me crying. Elena's pregnant again, please. I caved. They moved in. 2 months, it was tense, but okay. Then Patricia started coming every day, rearranging my furniture, commenting on my food, telling me how to fold laundry. Linda, this carpet is disgusting. You need to replace it. It was the carpet my dead husband saved 2 months overtime to afford. It's fine. It smells like dog, and we don't have a dog. There was no dog. She was making things up to mark my house as her territory. Marcus started sleeping on the couch, then just never left. Ate my food, used my bathroom, never said thank you. Then the fights. David and Elena, in their bedroom. She screamed. He whispered. She accused. He apologized. Every time he apologized. One night through the wall I heard her say, your mother is ruining this family. She's poisoning Lucas against me. She's not doing anything. She's breathing the same air as my child. That's enough. David said nothing. Then, the blocked phone calls. 4 times in 1 week. Nobody there. Just breathing. Then hang up. David said I was probably hearing things. That anxiety runs in the family. One night in the kitchen, Elena's phone lit up. A text from a number saved as, do not answer. She still doesn't know. Keep her busy tomorrow. I memorized the number. The next day, I went through the mail. A letter from a law firm, addressed to Elena. I opened it. A $2 million life insurance policy on David. Taken out 6 months into the marriage. Beneficiary was Elena. I put the letter back, hands shaking so bad I dropped the envelope twice. I didn't confront her. She'd say I was paranoid, crazy, grief-stricken. She might convince David to put me in a home. So I made a plan. Called a real estate agent in the next town over, told her I wanted to sell fast. Cash buyer. She had one within 2 weeks, below market value. I didn't care. I wasn't selling for money. Closing in 10 days. I kept living normal. Cooking. Cleaning. Taking care of Lucas. Smiling at Patricia when she insulted my carpet. Then Elena handed me the paper. Sign this, my parents are moving in. She had no idea the house was already sold. I didn't tell her. I wanted to watch her set everything up. Feel completely in control. Then pull the rug out. I acted defeated. Looked small. Let her think she won. David came to me the third night. Sat on my bed. Looked like a child again. Mom, I'm sorry. For all of it. The wedding, the table, the baby shower. Why did you let it happen? Because when I try to stand up to her, she makes me feel crazy. She says I'm just like Dad. My dead husband. What did she say about Dad? She said men in my family abandon women. That Dad abandoned you by dying. And I'll abandon her too unless I prove I'm different. She took the most painful moment of my life and weaponized it. Told my son his father's death was a betrayal. David, your father did not abandon us. He died. I know, Mom, but when she says it over and over, I start to doubt myself. That's what abusers do. They hit you with your own self-worth until you can't find it anymore. I said, I need to tell you something, but not tonight, soon. The next morning I called a lawyer named Frank. Told him everything. The insurance policy. Sophia's abuse. The manipulation. The blocked calls. Frank said, do you have evidence? I have a copy of the insurance letter, Sophia's testimony if she'll talk. And the house is already sold. Closing in 6 days. Elena doesn't know. Frank was quiet. That's either brilliant or insane. Both. On the 5th day, something I didn't plan happened. Sophia showed up at my door. Black eye, swollen lip, and a police officer with her. She had finally gone to police. Filed a report against Marcus. 2 years of abuse. Parents enabled it. Elena helped cover it up. Officer Daniels asked if I'd witnessed anything. I told him about the night Sophia came bleeding. An hour later, Marcus was arrested in my living room. Handcuffed in front of Patricia and Richard. And Elena. Patricia screamed. Richard tried to stop the officers. Elena stood still. Face blank. Not shocked. Calculating. Already figuring out how to spin it. After they took Marcus, Elena came to me. Composure cracked for the first time. This is your fault. I've been waiting for someone to say that out loud, because now I can say mine. I know about the insurance policy, Elena. She didn't blink. What insurance policy? $2 million on David's life. Taken out without his knowledge. I read the letter. Fear. For the first time, I saw it in her eyes. That's private correspondence. And you had no right to insure my son's life. Did he know what he was signing? She walked away. Locked the bedroom door. David came home. I showed him the insurance letter copy. He read it 3 times. Put his face in his hands. Made a sound I'd never heard. Deeper than crying. She told me it was a joint policy. For both of us. There is no joint policy, David. Only one on you. She's the beneficiary. He looked at me with eyes I didn't recognize. The gentleness still there, but underneath it something new. Steel. What do we do? I've already done most of it. Trust me completely. He said yes. Closing day. 9 a.m. Lawyer's office. I signed the papers. House sold. Money deposited into an account Elena knew nothing about. Noon. I drove home. Moving trucks parked outside. Patricia, directing people. Richard carrying boxes into a house that no longer belonged to me. I walked inside. Elena had a clipboard. Assigning rooms. Good you're here. My father wants to use the garage for storage. Elena, sit down. She saw my face. Sat? 2 hours ago, I sold this house. Silence. Patricia dropped a box. Richard froze. What did you say? This house is no longer mine. New owner takes possession, end of month. You have 18 days. You can't sell a house other people live in. I can sell a house I own. Free and clear. No mortgage. Done. Patricia screamed about lawyers and rights. Richard grabbed my arm. Touch me, and I'll call the same police who arrested your son yesterday. That shut them up. I went upstairs. Packed one bag. Clothes. Documents. Roberto's photo. The blanket Elena shoved aside at the baby shower. Walked out of the house my husband built. Didn't look back. 3 days later, David filed for divorce. Elena's lawyer tried to claim the sale was fraudulent. Frank had everything. Clean documentation. Legitimate buyer. No case. Then the lawyer tried to claim David was mentally unfit. That I manipulated him. David walked into that courtroom calm. Focused. Testified for 2 hours. The insurance policy. The isolation. How Elena used his father's death to control him. The blocked calls. The way she spoke to me. The judge ordered a full investigation into the insurance policy. Referred it to the state commission for possible fraud. Granted David emergency temporary custody of Lucas. Elena lost her son in that courtroom. She sat there, and I saw the real Elena. Not the cold woman who handed me papers. A scared, angry girl, raised in a family where abuse was normal and control was love. Because here's what came out during the investigation. Patricia had done the same thing to Richard's mother 30 years ago. Moved into the family home. Pushed his mother out. Raised Elena in that environment. Taught her that this is how you claim power. Find a gentle man. Marry him. Isolate him. Take everything. Elena wasn't a mastermind. She was a copy of her mother. A product of a cycle that started long before me. And David wasn't weak. He was traumatized. Lost his father at 24 and married the first woman who made him feel safe. The most dangerous woman in his life. We were all victims. Me. David. Sophia. Even Elena. Casualties of 2 families that didn't know how to love without controlling. But knowing that doesn't fix what happened. Doesn't give back the years. Doesn't erase the bruises on Sophia's arms. Doesn't undo the night David sat on my bed and doubted his own father's love. Divorce finalized 4 months later. David got primary custody. Elena got supervised visitation. Marcus pled guilty. Patricia and Richard lost their home paying legal fees. I rented a small apartment. 2 bedrooms, one for me. One for when David and Lucas visit. Every weekend now. David is different. Quieter in some ways. Stronger in others. Real therapy. Calls me every day. Sometimes, just to say goodnight. Last week, Lucas was on my floor playing with blocks. He looked up and said, "Gamma." I cried. Right there on the floor. Like I haven't cried since Roberto died. Because that word, that one word, it was the thing Elena tried to take from me. And she couldn't. She took the house. She took the table at the wedding. She took my son's confidence. But she couldn't take that word out of that baby's mouth. If you're watching this, and someone is slowly erasing you, moving you to table 7, making you feel small in your own life, don't wait. Don't be like me. Tell someone. Document everything. Because the thing about people who control you is this. They only have power as long as you believe the house is still yours. The moment you realize it was never really yours to lose, that's the moment you start winning. I sold my house. But I kept my son. I kept my grandson. And I kept something else. Myself.